Mixed martial arts, or commonly known as MMA, is now rising in fame. Most likely it's because of the UFC, where different types of fighting styles are meeting inside the octagon to determine who's stronger, who's better, and what's the most effective and best fighting style there is in the whole world. In this video, you will watch why MMA has its popularity today. It's not just because of the rivalry. It's not only because of the hype. It's because of the excitement, brutality, and blood faced by every fighter that stands inside of the ring. It is because of ferocious tigers like the notorious Conor McGregor. It's because of the fights of Nate Diaz. It's because of the passion and the intensity each fighter brings inside the ring. There is no going back. There are only two rules allowed inside the octagon: to live or to die. Before we start going through the bloodiest fights there are in MMA, Top Fight is a channel where we upload videos about the latest news, brutality, and most exciting fights there are in boxing and MMA. If you want to watch more videos like this, do not forget to click that bell icon and subscribe to our future videos. Number 1 on the list is the bloodiest fight there is. We have the revenge of McGregor against the Stockton Slugger, Diaz. This fight was one of the bloodiest and one of the greatest fights in UFC history. This is the bout where McGregor has to avenge himself to his first event UFC loss against Diaz. This fight was very exciting and brutal from the very first round up until the 5th round. We could see how many solid strikes and how many solid low kicks that McGregor had done in the first round, but Diaz bounces back from it and made McGregor stumble on his feet in the 2nd and 3rd round. McGregor would not be categorized as the GOAT if he let this situation get a hold of him. He also did not give up and fought back tenfold. Both fighters fought aggressively. Both of them brought in the intensity of two wolves inside of a cage fighting for their dear life. No one backs down. Even if their faces have been spilled with blood, they still duke it out with each other. McGregor managed to win this bout via 2-0 decision. Even though they both look messed up from the early rounds, they both managed to finish it up with a win by decision, which can arguably be the greatest and bloodiest fight there is in MMA history. Next fight, we have two rivals who fought 2 times and have 1 win and 1 loss against each other. Now, the trilogy of the fight between Derek Campos and Brandon Gertz will be featured as one of the bloodiest matches in MMA history. On the first meeting of Campos and Gertz, Derek Campos managed to steal the victory via decision. In their second meeting, Brandon Gertz caught Campos off guard in the first round and finished him quickly. Now, their third fight is happening, and this is by far the best they've ever fought. Just in the first round, Campos landed a solid knee and managed to cut the forehead of Gertz. Even though the face of Brandon was bleeding, he was still fighting aggressively and used his speed and agility to fight Campos. In the second round, both fighters traded a vicious cycle of strikes. It was very satisfying to watch. There's blood everywhere, the fans were hyping the fight, and the forehead cut of Gertz was also getting worse. They both managed to finish the second round, but before the third round begins, the referee, John McCarthy, stops the fight because he thought that Gertz was not in any condition to fight any longer. Although Gertz protests to continue the fight, the referee and the doctor was absolute on their decision and made Derek Campos the winner of this bout. It'll be no wonder if we ever see a 4th encounter for these two warriors, because there's so much unfinished business and will surely generate a lot of hype if it ever comes true. Third on the list, we have the fight of UFC 160. It is the match between 2 giant and 2 heavy fighters, Cardio Cain Velasquez against the Bigfoot, Antonio Silva. After losing his heavyweight belt and having an upset loss against Junior Dos Santos, Cain Velasquez bounced back and made a kid of the 7-foot fighter, Antonio Silva. Velasquez was ready to redeem himself. He was prepared. He was in top condition for this match. The results also agree. Velasquez needed only 1 round and 1 devastating elbow to make Silva's face red with blood. The doctor stepped in and checked Silva's condition. Surprisingly, he let him continue the fight. However, Cain maneuvered his way through and exploited the blood in the face of Silva, making the referee stop the match. This fight will go down in history as one of the most one-sided, savage matches in history. The next fight will surely be one that will make your hair stand because of the blood spilled in that match. This match is between Renato Sobral and David Heath. On UFC 74, Renato Sobral and David Heath meet in the octagon. This fight was categorized as arguably one of the bloodiest matches in the history. Before the fight even begins, both fighters have lots of hostility with each other. Many expected that this will be a gruesome, exciting, and brutal match. It was proven to be true. The hype was real. This match was one of the best there is. The first round, Sobral and Heath are testing each other. They are studying how they move in the ring and nothing big happens. However, it all changes when the second round comes in. Both fighters reveal their weapons that they are hiding in their arsenal. Sobral managed to take down Heath, and Sobral slugfests him with many vicious ground and pound shots. He managed to open a serious cut on Heath's head as he kept punching him in the head. He keeps throwing those devastating fists on the same spot over and over and over again. If you're not used to this kind of view, you will never like it. It was so painful, but satisfying to watch. Sobral finished his opponent with the Anaconda choke, making the referee stop the match. However, Sobral did not immediately release his Anaconda choke because of the anger he had towards Heath. Immediate response was made by UFC, and Sobral got cut from the octagon. Next fight is one of the bloodiest fights by two great fighters in the MMA. This fight was between Rory MacDonald against Robbie Lawler. If you still don't know this fight, then you're not updated enough. This fight took place on the UFC 189 at Las Vegas on the 11th of July 2015, and will be remembered as one of the bloodiest fights in the history of UFC. They are not here to play games. They are here to win and wreck their opponent's dreams. In this fight, you can see how both fighters trade their punches, but Lawler still has the advantage because he landed more vicious and more solid fists in the head than Rory, making Rory's white face red. Although, don't underestimate Rory because he did not cower. He fights viciously like a beast that got out from his cage. He did not back down. He fights even if his face is full of blood. That even if he lost in the 5th round, many people still applaud him for what he did in his fight against Lawler. Both of them were true warriors. They were here to brawl. They were not some kind of fighter like Floyd Mayweather who focuses more on defense. They went all out and got rewarded the Fight of the Year award in 2015. This was a great award because that's also when McGregor was making his name and crowning his first ever title, and the fight of John Jones was thriving. 6th on the list, we have two of the toughest fighters that UFC fans have ever seen perform. We welcome Jim Miller and Joe Lauzon. This fight took place at UFC 155. This bout was the kind of fight that fans want to watch. This was a fight between gladiators in the arena, where there are no options of retreat available for the both of them. These two fighters were known for demonstrating their hearts and technical prowess in the ring. That's what makes it exciting and makes the fans' blood boil from enthusiasm. In the first round, Miller immediately cuts Lauzon's forehead with a savage knee and vicious elbow behind. Lauzon continued the fight with blood running in his mouth, eyes, and nose. However, this doesn't scare Lauzon. He fights back. He never ran. In the middle of the round, the doctor steps in, but still gave a green light for Lauzon to continue. The match goes on, and with Lauzon's perseverance, he managed to strike Miller's eye and made Miller receive a cut under his eye. The match became a pure bloodbath. It was a massacre, but still so satisfying to the eye. Because after their spectacle of a match, even if they are both red from blood, they still managed to finish the fight with a decision. Jim Miller won this war, but they both have won the fans' hearts. 7th on the list, we have the fight between John Salter and Brandon Halsey in Bellator 156. Brandon Halsey, a former middleweight Bellator champion, fought against John Salter in a 3-round match in Bellator 156. Many people thought that Halsey will win this match because of his prestige and the accomplishments he's received in the octagon. However, the reality was very different. In just the first round, John Salter managed to finish a left head kick to the face of Halsey, making his beautiful face smudged by the blood. Halsey felt a sense of urgency and tried to attack aggressively using strike combinations with formidable takedown skills. It was proven to be ineffective. Halsey just maintained his composure, used his long reach, and keeps his distance from Halsey, and keeps targeting the cut of Halsey's face. The doctor stepped in to determine if Halsey can still fight, and he was given a ticket to continue the fight. The octagon was a bloodbath. You can see blood everywhere. However, Halsey rushed it a bit, tried to stall time using takedowns, submissions, and hugging Salter, but he got finished brutally by a vicious leg choke. There you have it, Top Fight fans. We gave you again one informative and one exciting video to watch. You've now watched the bloodiest fights there are in MMA and UFC history. If you love what you are seeing from our channel, and if you want to ride the hype train to be updated to the trending news, trending fights, and brutal fights in boxing, MMA, and UFC, don't forget to hit that like button and that bell icon so you will be updated for our next and future videos. We will have more interesting videos stored for you. Also, don't forget to give us your idea on what part of each fight was the most brutal and the most bloody. And what kind of videos would you want to watch in the coming days in the comment section. We will make sure that you watch only the best and most entertaining fights there are in the UFC, boxing, and MMA history.